What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to you with a critical decision. This is my all NBA defensive team, first and second. I'm going to go with the second team first. First, we got some tough cuts of guys like Bam Adebayo, a guy that some people say he's a forward, he's a center. We don't know what he is when it comes to the ballot, but we do know he is a great defender and has been for about 2 years at elite level. You got OG missing a couple games, and that hurt him. He has been injury prone throughout his career, but is a magnificent 101 defender a couple seasons in a row, but ultimately missed the cut because you only got two teams. You got Kawhi, the Claw Leonard, and Paul George. Absolutely fantastic defenders in their prime, but they're not elite level defenders like they used to be. And that's part of the reasons why the Clippers haven't been as dominant as we have thought, but that's another day. And then I got, the list. Joel Embiid, I do not have him as all NBA first team defensive because it's somebody else that we all know who is there. But if I had to pick a center, you can obviously throw in Bam Adebayo as center if you don't want to put Joel Embiid there. But Joel Embiid has been the second best defensive big in the NBA. You got Miles Turner, who has been a great great rim protector, but he missed so many games that I don't think you can even consider him, as a legitimate one. Plus, he is a guy that you can go hard at and get into, and he'll allow you to finish or get enough space that you can clear out. You can get a layup of him. But when it comes to rotation and shot contest, he has been excellent at that, and that's why he's always in the conversation for the last couple years. And then obviously Joel Embiid, a guy that has been known for his defense. That's good to be a player that's known as a two-way player, to be known as a great defender. He has made fun and mocked other centers for not being great defensively. But Joel Embiid always talks about Defensive Player of the Year. He wants to win it. He always talks about Hakeem Olajuwon, who has won it and has been the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season, and that's something that he hasn't been able to accomplish. And Joel Embiid still is one of the elite rim protectors in this league. I feel like his defense hasn't been as great at this point, but it also has been better than anybody else that could get this award outside of Bam. You got Jakob Poeltl. He's another honorable mention for San Antonio, but he's on the rise. He's in the conversations now, but he has a little bit more work to do to pass up these guys. For the forwards, like I said, you got Kawhi Leonard, you got OG, but I want to go with Mikhail Bridges in Phoenix. I think this is a guy that's going to be slept on. He might get snubbed, but has been a great defender in the league for a while for the forward position, and we knew him for defense too coming into the draft. And he has lived up to the hype. He has become one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. I know advanced stats don't scream Mikhail Bridges, but when you watch the games, he's guarding everybody, every position, and is always in stance, is always moving his feet, always trying to make it tough and difficult, even if you're trying to rotate and close out. He has done a fantastic job to me, and deserves to be rewarded for it. Draymond Green, people have slept on Draymond Green. I've been watching a lot of Golden State, and you don't really hear people bring up Draymond Green because he's not playing at the Defensive Player of the Year like he was before. But Draymond Green has been a vocal leader. Whether they have had James Wiseman, whether they have had Looney, he has been a guy that has rotated well. He has really challenged a lot of shots because of rotations, because of trying to go for blocks. And he has been a guy that even plays in the passing lane still, and can strip in the post and on the perimeter. I think Draymond Green hasn't been known and brought up so much this year, and it's kind of shocking because he has still been one of the best defenders, not just interior defenders in the league. And I definitely think that he should be on a Defensive Player of the Year team, even though it's not first team. Like I said, he's not the Draymond of old, but he still is better than majority of the guys in this league. And it's crazy that he hasn't really been getting that much talk or that much conversation. It's been all Steph. Steph, but Draymond has been important too, um, for this whole team to be successful. And if they make the playoffs, he has held his ground, being a great rebounder, passer, and still a solid defender and above average at that position. Drew Holiday, this is another guy that you haven't really been knowing. A lot of people haven't been chanting and rooting for Drew Holiday again for All NBA defense again. He hasn't even been an All Star. He won't be an All NBA player, but Drew Holiday defensively has been one of the best guards. Another guy that has to guard so many different people, contest shots, rotate, switch, and stay in front of guys, and he does it majority of the time. And when you think about the Bucks, you think about Giannis. But they made that trade they made that trade for Drew Holiday because they feel like he was bigger. He's a better creator. He's a better scorer. But he also is just as good as a defender as Eric Bledsoe, who has made defensive teams before. And so has Drew Holiday, and I think he should make it this year. Matisse Thybulle is another one that people are sleeping on. You don't really hear him in this type of conversation. But I think Matisse Thybulle should be All NBA defense this year. When you think about the Sixers, you think about Ben Simmons, you think about Joel Embiid as the anchors to that defense. But I think Thybulle should definitely be in the conversation for being rewarded for his defense and being a shutdown defender and help defender, and switchable. And that's something that we knew he was capable of coming into the league. And I think that he has finally started putting it together consistently to the point where I think he should make this list. Now we going to the first team. These are the most elite NBA defenders in the league this season. And these are the guys that also are in conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. But the guy that is going to win it is Rudy Gobert, and I think he should definitely win it hands down. I felt that way the last 4 years, and this is going to be his 3 out of 4. And if I had to be honest with you, he's the best defensive center in the league every year. He's the best defensive player every year to me, even last year, even though he didn't get it. And I get that. That's why I have him winning it every year. And this year is no different. The Utah Jazz is the number one team in the NBA. Still a elite defensive team, and it all funnels and comes from Gobert trying to swat everything, trying to protect the rim, rebounding at an elite level, and also, getting a little bit out on the perimeter, trying to hold some guys. And that's what he's going to have to do in the playoffs if they want to make a deep run. And he has showed some adjustments this season to be able to conquer that. Now we just have to see him do it in the playoffs. And that's what we have to see with him. Jimmy Butler is a guy that you have seen this year. Wasn't an all-star. I had him on my all-NBA team. And I also have him on my all-NBA first team defense. And that's another thing that people have been bringing up. Jimmy Butler has been a workhorse throughout his career, but he plays hard on both ends of the court still. You haven't really seen it as much because the Heat haven't been great, and their defense hasn't been great. But it ain't Jimmy Butler's fault because he has been fighting over screens. He's been coming at guys. He's been standing in front of guys. He's been hustling, doing all the dirty work, and I think that he should be rewarded for that. So if I had to look at the best perimeter wing this year, it would be probably Jimmy Butler or Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's not the defensive player of the year. I think his attention to detail slipped. His defense overall has slipped a little bit compared to last year. But I will say this, he is still in the conversation for best wing defender in the NBA. Great help defender, great defender when he's locked in and engaged. He can contest shots. He can get up on guys. He can put his hands up and make it tough to finish, rotation-wise too. And honestly and truthfully, he has been a monster. This is a guy that has the mobility, athleticism, the speed, the strength, and the length to be a great defender. And he has become that at an elite level this year too. Marcus Smart is one of the all-around defenders. We know that already. I feel like his defense has slipped a little bit too, being over dramatic a lot, closing out, being undisciplined, fouling a lot. And even though he does play hard, stay in front of guys, make things tough, and he has grown maturity wise at that too, he still is one of the best well-rounded defenders as he guards basically everybody, every position still to this day, and has done a good job enough to warrant him first team. And then obviously Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's going to win it. I wouldn't vote for him, but if I had to vote for him for something, it would definitely be first team all defense. That body, that size, that speed, that determination, and the fact that he really believes he's great. He really believes that he's a difference maker is important, because if you have that mentality to work, you want to defend, you want to stay in front of them, you want to send a message. That's something that you don't get from most guys in the league still to this day. And that's the message that Ben Simmons sends when he's, lobbying for this award for Defensive Player of the Year. And young guys don't think like that, especially number one picks. Number one picks want to score. They want to dunk on you. They want to get 30 points a game. They don't want to do the screening. They don't want to do the rotation. They don't want to do the switching. They don't want to guard the best player because they don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want to be put on the highlight reels for being dunked on. And Ben Simmons, you have to give him a lot of credit for taking pride in wanting to defend the best guys, get up in them, make it tough, fight over screens, stay in front of his guy, rotate, help, switch, and guard every position. Most people don't want to do that. That's why most of these people we don't even put in conversation for this award. And Ben Simmons has the right mentality, and that's why he's in that conversation each and every year for being on one of these teams. And he has even took it to the point where he feels like he should be in a conversation to win the award. I won't give it to him because I feel like Gobert is still the best defensive player a couple years in a row. Like I keep saying that because that's how much respect he earned from me. But Ben Simmons have made it a little bit of a conversation this year, even though he's going to fall short. Ben Simmons, he's on the right path to eventually capturing one of these awards, even before Embiid. I got Embiid on the second team. I got Ben Simmons on the first team. Even though that sounds crazy because interior defense is the number one thing you want, but Ben Simmons has really changed our mind, just like Draymond and Kawhi Leonard, about perimeter players the last couple of years. And he put himself in conversation again to win the award. Even though he comes up short, he will be on my first team for all defense. And that's valuable and important. And we always get on Ben Simmons about scoring. We always get on Ben Simmons about his 3-point shooting. But you have to give him credit for working hard on both ends of the court and trying to be an elite defender at a young age. That's the stuff that doesn't come up. That's the stuff that they don't highlight. That's the stuff they really don't show. But that's the one that he wants the most. Give that man his credit. I like that mentality. Other than that, Quinn Wade, basketball now, so I'm gone. Hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow with another video on Saturday. Other than that, let me know what you agree or disagree, who I slept on, who I overrated, underrated, what I got wrong, what I got right, or you want to even put your list in your description. I read every comment, so whatever you feel, let me know. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day, enjoy the weekend, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.